World I uh, can, can all the mics be on a mute mode, please? Thank you. So World IP Day is observed on April 26th each year with a variety of events and activities worldwide. It aims to increase people's awareness and understanding of intellectual property in encouraging innovation and creativity. World IP Day is sometimes referred as World Intellectual Property Day is sometimes referred as World IP Day. In celebrating this day today, that is on 24th of April 2020, we feel honored and privileged to welcome eminent panelists from four different sectors. From technology sector, we have Mr. Joseph Jude. From legal sector, we have Advocate Ekant Agarwal. From education and research, we have Mr. J.K. Sharma with us. And from IP industry, we have Mr. Harit Mohan. So without taking much of your time, let me introduce the panelists to you. Mr. Joseph Jude is a business technologist who works with CXOs to solve their business problems with technology. He is interested in business of technology and technology of business. He is currently serving as Chief Technology Officer of an IT services company to accelerate their digital offering. Previously, he architected e-governance system for LLP Act India and also oversaw transition of India's premier e-governance projects MCA 21 from TCS to Infosys. Then we have Advocate Ekant Agarwal, who is a seasoned professional, raised and educated in Chandigarh. He's an entrepreneur at heart and a visionary. He is adding values to the board of different companies as the founder and CEO of Ekant Associates, a leading law firm, legal head of NetSmarts and SEBI's group of companies, and executive director of Startup Accelerator Chamber of Commerce. We have Mr. J.K. Sharma, who is having a versatile experience of 32 years in academia, government, and corporate industry. He is presently working as Chief Project Officer at Technology Business Incubator of IIT Ropar. In his professional journey, he has served various organizations naming Punjab Women and Children Welfare Corporation, Industrial Training and Vocational Education Department of Haryana, Directorate General of Employment and Training under Ministry of Labour and Employment, Chandigarh Group of Colleges, Rayat and Bhara Group of Colleges, Shreyans Group, and Baddi Infrastructure in planning, administration, public relations, licensing and learning and development. He is Vice Chairman of Education Committee of PhD Chamber of Commerce and Industry Punjab, Chartered Member of TiE Chandigarh Chapter, and on the board of different bodies like Punjabi University Patiala, SLIET Longowal, Rotary International, and many more. Then we have Mr. Harit Mohan. Mr. Harit Mohan is founder and CEO of Signicent LLP in India and Signicent LLC in Delaware, USA. The company employs 80 full-time experts in the area of IPR, which is patents, trademarks, and copyrights. And as an IIT Madras 2008 postgraduate, research and technology has always been close to his heart. He has also done course on entrepreneurship, launching an innovative business from University of Maryland College Park. He has given 12 years of his career solving problems and overcoming hurdles faced by research companies and institutes. He, with his company, has been a technology and IPR consultant to over 400 plus businesses globally, spread across 15 countries. He has been a member of Patent Information Users Group US, Licensing Executives Society USA, CII, TiE, All India Management Association, and PhD Chamber India. With this, may I request Mr. Harit Mohan to please take charge of the panel discussion and continue from here. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Hiteshji, for such a great introduction. And probably you're always meticulous. You always take the time allocated. Today also you ended up your talk exactly in 5 minutes as was requested. So probably that's the message that you have sent for everyone here, that we need to abide to the time. And once again, as a host and a moderator and a co-panelist, I welcome everybody that has joined us on board, and it was really wonderful that probably we got more than 200 requests to join. About 70 people have already joined, and I'm sure more people would be joining us as the event progresses. So, without taking much time, may I request the first panelist to kindly go ahead and start taking the initiative. And so the structure of the program is like this. So we have given initially 7 minutes to each of the panelists, and once the panelists have introduced all of us about the specialty that they have, about the areas that they have, so that would be, this will go till about 4:35 or so, and then we have an open house wherein every question that you would be asking us, or you have already submitted to us via the registration form, would be taken care of. So let's introduce and let's start with Mr. Joseph Jude, who would be talking about technology stacks for business growth. And what we will also be doing is that Joseph will be helping and taking a lot of questions around the business growth, especially in the situations that we are right now. And Joseph, the house is on you now, so please go ahead and you can unmute yourself, and while others are still requested to please continue to be on the mute. And if you have any questions, you can keep it on the chat mode, and we will take them all together after half an hour from now, once every panelist have talked. Joseph, the house is for you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Harith, and thank you, Hitesh, for this opportunity. So I hope all of you can hear me well. What I have observed, I have worked with a lot of startups and small and medium enterprise owners. What I have observed time and again is that they will have a fantastic idea, and they would have nailed the problem that they want to solve. They have done a market study. They have a deep insight about the domain. So they know what problem to solve. And also they know what solution to build because of their deep expertise in that particular domain. And probably they have nailed the price as well because they have been working in this particular industry. But time and again, what I have seen is, having done all of this, they will come in and say, you know what, my app, my idea is going to be the next Facebook. So I want a technology solution like Facebook from day one. Now that's kind of a bummer, and it prevents them from launching a product and grow the particular product to its fullest potential. Now, so when you are starting, when you are wanting to start, when you want to launch the idea, what I recommend is you pick up a solution for feasibility. You say, okay, whether this particular product, whether this will be acceptable in the market in the way that I am expecting. So put it out in the market and then say, okay, now this is okay. So the first thing is about feasibility. And once people have accepted this, and you will fine tune your problem space and solution space and pricing and all of that. And then you can go into the next stage. As a matter of fact, if you see whether it is LinkedIn, Dropbox, you name any unicorn that is there out in the market today, all of them have gone through this particular phase. They would start with a particular tech stack. So say, for example, in some cases in LinkedIn, it was Java. In some other case, in Facebook, it is PHP. In some other cases, it is Python. In Dropbox, again, it was a Python. So they will start with something, they launch, they study the market, and so they prove that there is a feasibility. My idea is valid, there is market for it, and people are wanting to build this particular product. So they have proven this particular feasibility. Once they have this feasibility done, then go into the next phase. So what will happen is, okay, fine, people are using your product. Then suddenly what will happen is you will start to see some spike going down, going up, going down, and so on and so forth. So the second stage is flexibility. You want your application to be flexible for incoming sudden traffic and then going down. So you need to build for that. That is when you really nail, okay, this is probably the technology stack that I need to use. Maybe I am getting load heavy on Saturdays because mine is an educational application. So over the weekend it is getting, so I want to build a technology stack that will scale up during the weekend and then it'll come down by Monday. So something like that. Once you have nailed that, then comes scaling. Now, what Facebook and LinkedIn and Dropbox are there as we speak today, they're all scaling. There are millions of people are coming in. There are thousands of people who are connected at the same time, and so on and so forth. That is when you start building for scale. I'll give you an example. Take Dropbox. Dropbox started as a Python application, very simple Python application. They proved it worked. It's all fine. Then when there was a one bit of a stage, they went into Golang. They said, this is what is needed for us to scale, so we will go into Golang. They went into Golang, they built it, they launched it, and it started scaling, and it started going above what Golang can support. Then now, as we speak, they are rewriting some parts of the application in a language called Rust. Why? Because Rust provides them the concurrency and whatever the other features that they are expecting now. So do not get tied to one technology stack that I want to launch from day one to as I scale. That is not going to happen. Every technology company, every application goes through this particular change. I'll finally leave with only one guideline, how you can think about when you are choosing a technology stack. Ask yourself a question, and when you are growing your business, ask yourself a question, is this something that I can fix with throwing more money at a later point in time? If you can fix it with money, decide fast. Go with what you have and go fast so that you can go into the market. But it cannot be fixed with more money. Then think really well. Take your time. I'll give you an example. Culture is something that you cannot fix by throwing more money. So you need to really take time to build a culture. But whereas technology stack, you can throw money and you can solve that particular problem. So you need to go faster. So as I said, there are 3 stages: feasibility, flexibility, and scale. You need to decide the technology stack for these 3 different stages in a different way. And the guideline to choose this is that if you can throw money at a problem and solve it, you should decide very fast. If you cannot throw money and solve the problem, you should decide very well. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you. Good luck.
Great, Joseph. So I think thank you so much, Joseph. So you've said a very good point. Probably a lot of software companies in audience and a lot of India being an IT hub, we have facing this particular issue that people, of course, struggle, that they keep changing their softwares. I've talked to several people. They said that every customer, when they request a change, we go ahead and do it. And they don't understand probably that if you keep customizing the software for every request that you get, the vision that you had with the software may get diluted at the end, and you may kind of ended up making up a master of all but jack of none kind of a problem. So very interesting point, Joseph. I'm sure a lot of IT folks may have questions for you as we go to the Q&A. But before that, let me just go to Mr. Ekant Agarwal now. Mr. Ekant, if you could kindly turn on your audio and video as well, and probably if you can share with all the team members how COVID-19 has impacted the innovation, the technology growth. We were looking at a lot of questions in our registration forms. A lot of people have asked how things would be there. Should we pivot or not pivot? R&D is growing or not growing? How does legal implications come into picture during COVID? So since we get into the situation at a very unannounced time, and it's been a global pandemic already, so how do you suggest people can go into that? So next 7-8 minutes are with you, Mr. Ekant, and the stage is all yours. Go ahead, please. Thank you.
Thanks a lot for giving the opportunity. So I would first of all wish everybody a very good afternoon. It's a quite, lovely afternoon wherein sun is on its full and we are all working from home. So starting it, I must say a quotation of Swami Vivekananda ji that says, "Arise, awake, and stop not till the goal is reached." By this quotation, what we mean, it doesn't talk about any pandemic, it doesn't talk about any epidemic, or it doesn't talk about any hurdle whatsoever comes between your goal. So simply it means whatsoever the situation is, you have to rise in the morning, then you have to awaken yourself, and you do not have to stop till the goal is reached. Simply means whatsoever the situation is, we will take baby steps, but we will move to our goal. So starting with the topic of hard facts and the measures. So first thing I would, definitely say about hard facts is very crucial that you have to understand that there is no one experienced. I was doing a experiment. I chalked out the list of the people I know. The maximum age of a person which I know is almost near to 94. And this person also says he has never seen such a situation. So this means there is no one experienced. There is no one who's an expert who has handled this situation before. Simply means this is a hard fact wherein you cannot have knowledge, experience, or an expert of this matter. The only thing is you have to handle it through your own gut feeling and bank on the intelligence. So that is first hard fact. Second, remote working. So like we all are connected through Microsoft Teams or Zoom or AirMeet, all the platforms. So this is remote working, or differently we can say at work from home also, wherein we are using our digital medias. So remote working is what? It is a new way to work of year 2020. I won't say it is during COVID. Yes, it was there in some countries earlier also, and it will stay now in India as well. Do not think that this will go 50%, maybe 30%, maybe 20%, but it will remain. So whenever you create some policies, whenever you are working, even post-COVID, remember work from home will remain and people will opt for it. And this saves operational cost. Swanky offices are not needed. So remember, again, I'm saying this is a hard fact. Remote working will never go. Third point, that is a legal point, perspective of an advocate. So when we used to study way 15 years back, there was a clause called as act of God, or now like we call it as force majeure. So what is that? Any war between countries, any floods, famines, earthquakes, or like a pandemic, they are covered into force majeure or act of God. So when this comes into play, all the contracts are finished, meaning thereby all the new contracts which will happen in near future, people will take care of this clause and they will imbibe this. So now as an entrepreneur, as a founder, as an owner, or even as an employee, when you are doing your contract, according to your situation, take it in your benefit. You need it, you don't need it. Accordingly, take your decision and you have to find its replacement. Force majeure आपको रखना है या नहीं रखना. Fourth point, which is again a hard fact, that is your cash flow or your savings. This is the biggest reality while you are doing business or you are into employment or even you are a simple individual. The more you had saved in the past, the more you will sustain. So habit of savings, which is vanishing, looking at the sides of US or even or the eastern sides, people in India are again thinking that we should not save. We should not have houses, but that's again a reality. You should save for the situations like this. If you have cash flows, if you have savings of your past, nobody can beat you, not even a pandemic. Then there is a lie going on that there is something called as a new normal, which will come after the lockdown, after the curfew. Nothing of that sort. There is nothing going to be a new normal. Everything will be in recovery phase. We have to do a U-shaped recovery because we have startups and MSME, so we won't be hit like the markets of US. But yes, we will revive sooner than the other countries. Talking about jobs, jobs will be lost. There will be good resources available in the market. And those who are thinking to take company for a ride, they will be identified and removed. Mind it, this is a hard fact. Now, talking about, what are the sectors which are, badly hit. So those are tourism, hospitality, aviation, automobile, and real estate as well. So if in case you are from any of these sectors, it is time to diversify. Do not stick around it, because this pandemic is not of 3 months, not of 1 month. It will last for 9 to 12 months till a vaccine is available, till it goes off. So you have to diversify. Now, after talking the hard facts, I have to give you the measures as well. So what are the measures? What we should do? Talking about companies, founders, and owners of startups, MSME, and companies. First thing is you have to inculcate in your policies work from home. As said earlier also, this is going to stay. So in all your policies, you should have option of work from home and the measures around it. Second, you should have remote monitoring. Remote monitoring can be done very effectively with few softwares like Jira. Jira generates reports. Then there is an Active Track. You can install Active Track in the systems of your employees, and you can track their performance. Third thing, as a founder, as a company, you have to reward your performers. All the performers who are performing well, even during these crises, you should be rewarding them. This motivates the non-performers as well. In case you find people who are not performers, please ask them to leave. It is time you ask them to leave. They should not be riding your backbone. Be conservative in spending. Cash flow is the need of hour. You should have it for at least a year. Try to find projects in what we call as necessities, in essentialities like roti, kapda, and not makan, that has been badly hit, but healthcare. So 3 things, roti, kapda, and healthcare means your essential food items, your clothing, and healthcare is only going to survive whenever such situation comes. Now a few pointers very quickly for employees. So all those who are employees working in companies and corporates and startups, be productive. If company trusts you, you do not have to break their trust. You are at home. I know. I am at home. I also know. But at the same time, the company also know that you are at home. They're already skeptical that you are not going to be 100% dedicated to the job. So be productive, give your results, be innovative. Your senior has a similar brain like you. Your founder has a similar brain like you. He is more stuck than you are. You are thinking about yourself and your family, but the founder has to think about 1,500 families, 500 families, or maybe 50 families. Give your ideas to him. What can be done, what cannot be done, so that that person also feels relieved and feels, yes, I have a good team which is helping out in this situation. Now, don't think you can fool around with the companies. They are aware what you are doing. So once they are aware that you are not working, your trust will be broken, and my friend, you will be leave without pay. Lastly, if there is a pay cut, take it and stay with the company for the hard times, because you will only be the one who will remain with the company when there will be happy times. Remember it. For the jobs in the market are not as they were. Resources have become plenty. Do not try to change the existing jobs. Do not. In case you are thinking of changing your jobs, please stick with what you are doing, and let's think about this after maybe 6 months. Lastly,
please go ahead.
That is, look out for the opportunities that are coming our way. India has been looking as the market wherein each and every country is going to invest. All the plants from China will be shifted to India. Manufacturing will happen in India. So those are the opportunities to look for. And Healthcare, you have to think. That is an industry coming up. Cloud services, another industry which is coming up. So this is all what I have to say relating to the hard facts, measures, and what is coming up. I thank you all for patiently listening to me. Thanks a lot.
Right. Thank you so much, Mr. Ekant. I think there will be a lot of questions coming up. You've touched many nerves that are already aching, and some people who are seeing the opportunity as well here. I will quickly jump to Mr. J.K. Sharma from IIT Roper. Sir, I was talking to you that probably a lot of people are already seeing opportunities in such situations. IIT Roper has been in news and doing a lot of stuff for community, and probably they are working on a lot of new projects. Why don't you share with us how IIT Roper is handling innovation at this hours? And there are a lot of students that we have on our the panel today. So probably students would all like to hear to you a lot. So all yours, sir.
Definitely. Good afternoon to everyone, and I'm thankful to Vincent and Harit for taking me into panel. Honestly say, a lot of work related to Corona in this tough time is being carried out at various IITs and other higher education institutions also. If we talk about IIT Roper, in the last 15 days, our innovation as well as the research have been able to innovate at least 3 good things, which I can mention here in this webinar. The first one is one of a ultraviolet sanitizing trunk, which is now already largely on the YouTube. So this is a trunk, steel trunk, which has been made by one of our professor, Dr. Naresh Rakha, and daughter. She's also assistant professor in the Department of Mechanical Engineer. They jointly developed this trunk, UV sterilization trunk, in which you can sanitize in 30 to 35 minutes the items you are bringing out from the market, because we cannot say that it is safe when they are being brought to at home. We have a huge demand, and I am the connect person between the industry and the IIT Roper, the Industry Connect program. So we have received more than 10 to 12 offers for this product. And apart from this trunk, there is a doffing unit has been developed by IIT Mechanical Engineering Department. There is a virtual app that is called Samparkometer, which can help people to estimate risk of coming into contact with any of the COVID patient in the last 14 years. And another plenty of good research work as well as innovation work is going on. The latest one which I have today is a very low cost ventilator. So a lot of work is going on, and I have taken a round on the Google and have a list in front of me. Plenty of innovations in the IITs. It is being carried out. I cannot leave any of the IITs. Good work is going on IIT Delhi. Good work in the Northeast. IIT Guwahati has developed 2-3 good things. IIT Kharagpur has developed. IIT Kanpur has developed. IIT Bombay has developed. So plenty of good work related to this Corona is going on, and now and government is also very open. Particularly the Department of Science and Technology, they have made a special call for the special innovations, and the recommendation of the director of any of the innovation, the project proposals are directly being funded, and there is no dearth of money. 50 lakh, 1 crore, 2 crore. Government is doing anything to be developed for the Corona, COVID-19. And regarding industry, if I'm not wrong, and I can show one of a news cutting of today, if it is into all, this feature is on the business page of the Tribune. The Tribune, the very ugly red paper in the North India. So the interview is from Mr. Pankaj K. Munjal, and he is a managing director, chairman and managing director of Hero Motors company. This is the first news I have read in the last 15 years, and the heading of the news is COVID can be blessings in disguise for the Indian firms. So I think he's very right. I have gone through the whole interview, and industry can take beautiful wonderful benefit of the research work, of the innovative works in these days, because they are in the lockdown. They are not in a position to produce or manufacture their usual products, but they have the machinery, they have the manpower, limited manpower, and under this lockdown period, they can use this innovation for the large interest of the country as well as to the people. Regarding in case of IIT Ropar, we are not charging any license fees, any consultancy fees, even not a single penny for this tech transfer of this UV sanitizer drunk. But the only request to the partner industries to have a minimum profit on your manufacturing costs, because right now this is not a time to earn the profit. This is the time to put this technology as well as the good gadgets to the larger people of India, so we can save the plenty of lives apart from doctors and other science workers.
Perfect. I think that is really good, and I have always seen IIT Ropar being sir there quite a few times, and an alumni from one of those institutes. I know IIT has always come forward to coping whatever situations we have in hand. So I'm sure there would be questions, sir, for you also. So I would request probably the audience that are there to start scratching their heads before we go to the Q&A form and get your chat ready. But just before we handle into it, I have just the last session reserved for me. So I'll just take 5 minutes and then we open the house, because we wanted more people to interact, and everybody has their own commitments from the speaker side. So what we have been doing from the IPR perspective, so Signiscent per se is an IPR company. As has been told by Hitesh, we have about 80 people who are working across globe. Has COVID impacted us? Probably like every company, we are also impacting and feeling a heat a little, but things have been, due to due diligence from our team, has been under control to a good extent. And so for people, I was seeing there are a lot of people from startups who have come down for the meetings today. So let me just tell you 5-6 minutes. What I can tell you is when I've given numerous such seminars, there are few things that you like to see. One, as you're creating, you need to make sure you choose the right IPR form for protecting your innovation. Just to tell, IPR umbrella has patents, trademarks, copyrights. Of course, there are others, but these are the 3 most important ones. Patents would cover anything that we call innovation. For example, a computer that you're working on right now could be considered as one innovation. The apps that you are working upon in hardware formats could be considered another innovation format. So there are a lot of innovation formats that are there, and you need to be very conservative and very diligent in what IPR do you choose to go into. And so you start with patents for your technology, the trademarks, the logos, the signs, the brandings that you do with your logos or jingles are all coming under trademark. That's where the any innovation that is coming up would go under there. And people who are writing contents, they are writing software codes, they are doing activities like paintings or dramas or things like that. So all that would go under copyrights. And you need to do protect it, because what is also happening is a lot of innovation are going towards that, especially as Ekantji and JK Sharma ji was telling that healthcare has boomed up a lot. This is something that is definitely growing. We have also seen a lot of surge in the requirements that we are getting from COVID related sectors for us. So that's probably coming up a lot, and that is something that we need to be very diligent about. Another word of advice is there are a lot of schemes from Government of India right now which helps you to protect especially people who are innovating in India. You can go ahead, take the advantages of it. A lot of things have done as freebies now for startups. You just need to register on the government websites, and you need to make sure that you're registered before you take advantage of that. Commercialization is coming up, since it is coming out that a lot of companies have already declared that they are going to shift to India. So I see that as two-way. One is if it is coming to India, there would be a lot of indigenous companies who may be getting into problem situations, especially if they are not protected their IP. And then there is a good thing for distributors and for job employment ways, that there are some good high-tech jobs coming up to India also. So we need to balance out, and for Indian innovators, probably this is high time that before such entry into India happens from MNCs, we need to make sure we are well aware of the competitive landscapes that are there. We are holding on to our IP. We do not want them to copy our products domestically or internationally. So that's what we need to do that. So having said that, let's maybe start hearing from audience. So we will try to take up as many questions as we can in the next 20 minutes of the time. So you can put it on the chats, the questions. In the meantime, as you put your question in the chat and our curators select those questions, I have some questions already. Maybe I'll take one or two with each of the panelists, and I'll request everybody to please take 30 to 40 seconds so that we can address maximum questions as possible. So I'll start with Joseph. Maybe first of all, Joseph, there was very interesting question that we were looking at. People are asking, is this the time they should pivot to survive? We're talking about a lot of stackings and business growth when people do not have cash flow to run for even more than 3 months. Shouldn't they be looking on survival mode first and then business growth later? Is there some faults that a lot of Indian companies have by default in their strategies that probably a lot of us are actually struggling at this point? What do you advise, probably in say 30-40 seconds, if you would like to answer that?
Okay, I am more from a technology background, not from business growth perspective, but I'll give you my 2 cents on this. Is that the wind that extinguishes a candle is the one that inflames the fire. So it is the way that you are prepared coming into this. So say, for example, you have a buffer, as Ekant also talked about, you have enough cash flow, then probably this is the best time to look at a new problem space which is emerging and embrace that. That is what I would say. Keep that in mind. You need to have certain kind of a buffer. Then this is the what you can do. So that's what I would say.
Got it. Sure. So, I'll take then to Mr. Ekant. Mr. Ekant, there were, of course, a lot of questions about COVID, and I read something. There's one particular question that we got from Mr. Atma Anand, and probably I'll also club it up with Mr. Ankit Agarwal, and both of them are in the same way. So it goes like, if people are taking it as a boom after the coronavirus recovery for India, or is this kind of a curse of Mother Nature that we should, take it for? So maybe if you'd like to answer that very quickly.
So see, as I talked earlier also, diversification is needed now. So there are, sectors which will get impacted. There are sectors which will come up more like, they are in a gun. When we pull it back, they are shot in a different force, which is definitely excessive than it was earlier. So like healthcare or cloud services, or I can say legal also, because once there are some, frictions, there are employment cases, there are recovery cases, domestic cases, rentals, specific reliefs and everything. So legal profession, cloud services, healthcare will definitely come up. And talking about the grace or curse for nature, definitely it's a grace. Nature has recovered back what humans did to it in 100 years. In just 1 month, it has recovered back. Thank you.
Great. So thank you, Ekant, for that. I would request audience, if you have questions, please be sport. You can go to the chat window that you have, and you can ask the panelists, and I would, say it out to the panelists. So please go ahead, ask your questions on the chat mode, and probably we'll ask you to unmute and ask to the panelists directly. So as we move to the next questions that we have with us, JK sir, this would be for you. So What about as you're handling a lot of startups at IIT, a lot. What does Indian startups need at this time the most? People who are just starting off now, they started off like say 6 months back, year back, and when they were thinking that we have things under control, this natural disaster happened. So what do you advise maybe towards such startups from an IIT incubator perspective? What do you suggest? Maybe 2 or 3 recommendations for them. So you need to kindly unmute. Sharma sir, can you unmute, please? Thank you.
Now it's okay. Okay, so Hariji, first of all, they should be stick to their innovations they are into, and इससे डरने की कोई बात नहीं है. And जैसा आपने पहले कहा, healthcare के ऊपर और particularly जो machinery के ऊपर जो भी स्टार्टअप्स हैं वो बहुत आए हैं. मेरे पास कम से कम पिछले 15 दिन के अंदर ऐसी 10 एप्लीकेशंस आई होंगी जो कि इमीडिएटली उसकी एवेल्युएशन चाहते हैं और उसको पीजीआई के साथ या किसी और संस्था के साथ जो है वो कनेक्ट कराना चाहते हैं ताकि उसकी वो मैन्युफैक्चरिंग शुरू कर सके. मेरे पास एक छोटी सी एग्जांपल है. वन ऑफ ए वेरी स्मॉल मैन्युफैक्चरर in the district Fatehgarh Sahab, he has approached to me. He has developed a ventilator machine which is a portable, and even it can be operated on the inverter. So lot of innovations are there, and startups, those who are doing, they should stick to their innovations. Yeah, as Ekant perfectly conveyed, if they can take the benefit of the existing or outgoing research or innovations being made, and they can connect or they can join with them, it will be really a good thing for them.
Great. So sure, JK Sharma ji. So there is another question that we now have it on chat from Mr. Basha. And he asked that since we have said, Ekant ji, that real estate is something that is going to hit off a lot. Do you suggest, if I got your question clearly, do you suggest they should decrease probably the price from X to X by 2 for selling things? Or how do you suggest they should go, especially the people from real estate? There is a question on chat that you would see.
So for the real estate, see, everybody is conserving their money. Everybody is conserving their cash flow. If we talk about an investor market, definitely investors are not going to invest. But if it is going to be a consumer market and somebody who has good, chunk of money which he wants to invest and gets a special discount because of COVID, they will definitely buy it.
Got it. Then we have, you can keep your videos on, by the way, Mr. Ekant. So what we have is probably there are a lot of questions now popping up. Let me try and take most of them. So the next question is, how do you determine startup costs and other expenses? Probably would you like to take Joseph? How do you determine probably the startup cost and expenses? I'm not sure if this is for this scenario or overall. But since you've done some startups in the past, how do you suggest? What have you done at that time? You need to unmute, Joseph. Can you unmute, please?
Yeah, I didn't understand the question. How do you keep expenses and what?
So Shubham, if you can hear us, probably why don't you unmute and ask your question, and please be quick so that we can take more questions. Shubham Kanwal, if you can hear us, kindly unmute and shoot your question, please. Shubham, if you're still there. Okay. Anyhow, let me just read out the question. He has said, sir, how do I determine my startup costs and other expenses? That's the question that have come in.
So you're going to primarily have the people cost. That's going to be probably 80% of your cost. The second one is going to be the infra cost. Everything else probably it's kind of like dynamic, but more than everything else, because you are a startup, I'm assuming it is a startup. Because you are a startup, you need to spend more money on marketing and sales. Depending on whether it's a B2C or a B2B, if it is B2C, he has to spend more money on marketing. If it's a B2B, he needs to spend more money on sales. So that's how I would say it.
Right. So I think marketing and sales would take some chunk. JK Sharma sir is also saying keep your innovation also right in there, and then probably startups do get in some problems. That should we consider startups or for innovation, or should we go for marketing more? Let me just take the next question and probably you can answer that. So the next question is there. That what sort of strategies we can follow for mid-size firms. We have pressure for maintaining infra, people, and importantly survival. So this is from Manish. So anybody would like to take that? Sharma sir, would you like to take that? Maybe quick 30 seconds.
Which one, sir?
From Manish, it says what strategies we can follow for the mid-size firms, and we have pressure for maintaining infra, people, and importantly survival is there. So they have to pay their salaries, rents, and so on. How they could keep innovating most probably? What's their priority order should be like?
My reply will be same, Hariji. They should be stick to their innovations already in their hand, and probably if they can join to the new innovations, because I understand that cost is there, but there is no other way to get it out. We have to. We have to. And as I have shown the article of Mr. Munjal, this COVID will be a blessing in disguise for the Indian countries, Indian manufacturers. So we can go, for example, today I was reading an article in the Ministry of Industries website that government is seriously considering that to have a mapping of the industries, that what material they were taking from China, which can now be developed in here, and this can be developed during this tough period, so that our liability on the Chinese or other countries can be ruled out.
Decreased, right? Very interesting. There is another question, Ekant, probably you can help us, taking this. And of course, I would also like to answer the same thing from the IPR perspective. So Puneet says, what could be the impact of post-COVID for R&D sector? I would answer that for the IPR sector and R&D sector, but would you like to add to Puneet's question? What would be the impact post-COVID?
Post-COVID for the IPR and R&D sector?
Yeah.
And definitely, this is a very good question, I'll say. So post-COVID, when we talk about IPR, there is going to be innovation, there is going to be technology, there are going to be new things. So we have to file the patents for that. Mm-hmm. That is the first and foremost thing, because the new thing, the new business which is coming up will definitely leverage the patent. If you have, then it will earn you more money. R&D sector post-COVID is going to be again focused on, healthcare, because everybody is going to do research and development for the new medicines, for the new sanitizers, or maybe anything and everything of healthcare. So this sector will definitely boom.
Right. Okay. So I would, club that with another question that Mr. Surinder Singh has asked on the chat, that he says that probably how will a product developed by institute patentable after demonstration of product for local use? So that's very tricky, and that's a trivial thing that a lot of us do. I would suggest, and being all of from the IPR fraternity, I think the first way you should always do is file a patent first, then go for college newsletters or blogging about it, putting it to newspapers. So the patent should be the first step. Now, some geographies does allow a 12 months period wherein if you have commercialized the product, you can still have a chance to patent it. But then if you're beyond 12 months, probably it will be very difficult, and your own product could serve you as a prior art, which means that your own product could be lethal for the grant of your own technology. So Surinder, maybe if you need more specific consultancy, there could be we can connect off track, but that's the questions answer based on that. In the meantime, the IPR industry is gonna be impacted, but as you said, we are seeing a lot of trends that where people are asking companies to go ahead, protect what they have for sure, especially in healthcare, pharma sector. Innovation, as JK Sharif is also saying, do not stop on that, keep investing and keep protecting what you have. So IPR sector, I think, is going to stay unless the manufacturing or R&D is badly hit and people start cutting out their budget from R&D completely. All right, so next we can take question from Anurag, so which is again for me. Okay, I'll take that, Anurag. So it says, I have a question for you. What kind of qualities should a CEO bring in out now in terms of business survival, employees welfare, etc. Wow. So I'm sure a lot of my people would be on the call also. So what I've done is I've stick to the basics. To be very honest, I'm not trying too much. One, we are all spending a lot of time making sure that our pipelines are strong, and we are planning maybe 3 weeks, 4 weeks ahead of what we have today, and if possible maybe a month ahead, because IPR may generally the products are smaller in size, so we probably would like to keep it for a month's kind of insight. And then for employees, my team has been absolutely supportive, so now everybody's burning hours a lot, so we are keeping everything intact. We are paying full salaries now, and we hope to continue doing it, because for us business have not impacted much, so that's the way we are taking it for now. All right, so next maybe we can take a question. This has come from Mr. Aman. So this goes to for IIT. So for the university students that are not from IIT, as the top colleges, placements has always been difficult. At this point, because of COVID-19, it has gotten even worse. Any suggestion for students, sir, for placements? So, right to the heart question.
Regarding, though I am not against the placement, but as an entrepreneur and the CEO of the technology business incubator, I will advise Aman to have a good idea in his mind, develop it, and come to IIT Ropar for its development. We will fund his idea, and rather going for a small placement,
मेरी आवाज चलेगी क्या?
He should go for the entrepreneurship.
Harit, can I take it as not someone from IIT? So yeah, like when the silence, I'm taking it as permission. I mean, I'm not from IIT. At this particular point in time, I think what you should do is you should talk to some mentors. You should build your network. Network is the key for your success, for your first placement, and subsequently also. I have changed about 6 different jobs, except for one. Everything else came from either from my mentors or from my contacts. So network, and maybe join TiE, volunteer yourself in some of these groups. That will open up doors for you. Ekant is here. He has been an executive director in TiE. That opened up the door for him. So do not constrain yourself saying, if not for IIT, we will not survive. That is not true. That's all I would say.
And my advice.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah.
Joseph sir, Aman here. So just a question in continuation to the same. So actually, I was thinking of an idea, and it's more of the actual growth. So for that, is this the right point to start it, or is it not the right point to start a new idea? It is not exactly related to the COVID situation, but it is a general idea. So will this be the right point to start it or not?
Every time is the right time, Aman. Every time is the right time. And if any of the new idea, this can be scaled up, provided it has a good impact as well as a good potential. So I will request you, if you are fearing of your placement, you have an innovation idea, have it, develop it, and rather going to a placement, be an entrepreneur, take job, and give job to other two also.
Sure. Thanks.
Hello.
Yes. Could you say your name?
Yeah, my name is TPS Jassal.
Okay.
And Mr. J.K. Sharma knows me very well because I'm also involved with IIT Ropar.
Good afternoon, Jassal.
Yeah. And I'm also helping with his, trying to help with their innovation center. Okay, I just have a small little comment because I've been also working with startups. See, at this point of time, when things are not apparently moving, the best thing that the startup should be doing is develop your ideas.
Yes.
Start implementing them. Because once you go back to working and the industry opens up, you will have absolutely no time. Okay, so this is the best way to start. And I'm sure Mr. Sharma is going to agree with me because he has a lot of experience in encouraging startups.
My only advice is to, sir, now in these days, if you have any idea, develop it. Because it can't be connected to any of the COVID-related need. This tough phase is required plenty of things, not related to the medical equipment. It requires plenty of, and after this lockdown will be over, we will be requiring more than that.
Yes, that's perfectly all right. That is what is important, because I've been, there are a couple of startups that I'm helping right now. And unfortunately, they have taken the stand that they will work on this prototype testing after the lockdown is lifted, and they're wasting a lot of time.
Yes.
So that should not happen. Don't waste time.
Sir, my actual question was because of the reason that what idea needs groundwork. So at this point of time, you can't go to the market for looking for ideas, what is beneficial for your idea. So you can't go outside and talk to the retailers or something. If that's the idea.
The only thing you can do is read at this point of time. Get ideas, speak to people, whosoever you can contact with on the phone, but don't wait. Otherwise, at least what you can do is, you have the basic idea, at least flesh it out to a certain level. So that when you get to talking to people, you will save a lot of time because you have the groundwork ready already. Okay.
And Aman, my suggestion to you is that your idea will remain idea till it will be in your pocket or in your brain. Bring out that idea, share it with your friend circle, take their input, fine tune karo usko, and if you have a good idea, kindly share with me through Harit Mohan, and we will try to get it evaluated even through on Google Hangout, and we can, if your idea really is good, though it is not related to the COVID, we can help you to come out.
Right.
Sure,
so
I'll try to reach out to you with and get some feedback.
Sure, thank you, Aman. We'll just take one last question and then we will hand over back to Hitesh. There's a question from Subodh and it's for Ekant. Ekant, if you could read the question there. So startups started a few months back. What are the legal permissions required for them?
So basically, if a startup has just started and COVID came, the curfew came, so government functionaries have stopped giving any new licenses. So otherwise, the license required is shop and establishment for essential items or grocery, and for food items, if you are preparing food, then you need FSSAI licenses. So, but now is the time to collaborate. If you do not have license, you have raw material, you can supply goods. Definitely shake hands with somebody who has a license and take your business forward.
Perfect. So I think we have taken a lot of questions and we are coming to a close for the session. Before we do that, if you have any more questions, I'm just pasting a link for our LinkedIn page on the chat. You can leave your questions there on our company LinkedIn page, and I'll make sure we connect it with the more people. So it's on the chat mode, and any feedbacks that you have could be there. Hitesh, all to you now. Probably if you would like to conclude the session over here, and we will call off the session at 5. Mr. Hitesh, can you hear us? You need to unmute if you're still there, or.
Thank you, Harit, and we'll finish it up sharp at 5 o'clock now. So, distinguished panelists, dear participants from corporate and academia sector, it's my privilege to propose the concluding remarks and vote of thanks on the special occasion. I hope you all will agree with me that it was a privilege to listen to the esteemed panelists, and we are inspired by the sharings from them. Very rightly shared by Joseph that startups and SMEs in the businesses go through different stages, and technology will play an important role in customization of solutions. And what a great learning from Advocate Ekant Agarwal, where he said that let us understand and accept that the impact of COVID-19 would be for a long time, and we need to re-engineer the way we work. Thank you very much, J.K. Sharma, sir, where you have shared that encouraging research and development or creating gadgets for combating corona and other such crisis situations which might rise in this VUCA world from time to time. And appropriately stated by Mr. Harit Mohan on how to protect innovation and creativity with the right IPR like patent, trademarks, copyright, tool during R&D and product commercialization. So many thanks to all of you for your active participation in this panel discussion. Friends and professionals, and even like this requires meticulous planning and an eagle eyes for details. We are fortunate to be backed up by a team of very motivated and dedicated professionals. Special thanks to organizing team of Significant LLP for their persuasive vision and inclusive planning and relentless execution of the program. So we'll end up this program here with a quote by Phil Jackson, which says, "The strength of the team is each individual member, and the strength of each member is the team." So we'll get back to you with some more interesting events in the future. Thank you so much. See you soon.
Thank you everyone, and thank you Amit and Ritika. I'm not sure if they're still with me, but thanks a lot for setting this up for us, and thank you everyone. Stay safe, stay at home, and looking forward to connect with all of you again.
And Harit, please convey my best wishes to your team at the back end. जो अभी नजर नहीं आ रहे हैं, लेकिन सारा ये जो प्रोग्राम अरेंज किया है, ये उन्होंने किया है, उनको स्पेशल ब्लेसिंग्स हैं और एक नई मोटिवेशन है इसको और आगे करने की. Please convey my blessings and good wishes to them.
Absolutely, sir. They rock. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.